Let's start our discussion now. Okay.
Hmm.
So remember, guys, our previous discussion on RBAC concept, running configuration, candidate configuration, RBAC topic, role-based access control, DNS configuration on Palo Alto Firewall. Now,
Yes.
now let's talk about the next concept is called dynamic update. Dynamic update. So actually, we have two topics here: dynamic update and software update. So what is dynamic update? See, guys, Palo Alto is a next generation firewall box. So if you want to utilize next generation firewall feature, in case if you want to utilize next generation firewall feature, so you need to first purchase license. You need to purchase license to download latest signature update. And this dynamic update is related with signature update. So let me show you this option. First, in real scenario, you need to purchase license, and if you have license, for example, in your organization on your Palo Alto firewall device, so you can click on device, you can click on license, and here you can get license information. So first you have to install license, like for example global protect gateway license, PAVM license, threat prevention license, bandb URL filtering, global protect, wildfire. So as per your requirement, you can purchase your license. And if you have license here, for example, then you can download updates. You can download latest signature update from updates.paloaltonetworks.com. For example, see here is the option: antivirus signature, application and threat, global protect data file, wildfire signatures. So what is antivirus signatures? So if you want to detect latest malicious information or latest viruses information, so you need to download latest signatures. And here is the option: you can set a schedule time. You can set a schedule time, and with two options, either you can go with the download and install, or you can go with the download only. With download only, your Palo Alto Firewall box will download the signatures. Only download the signatures. And you as an administrator, you can install this application and thread signatures later. For example, in evening when there is no traffic is traveling through the firewall box, for example. Or you can go with this option: download and install. It means your Palo Alto firewall box will download the signature and install immediately. So this dynamic update is related with signature update. Clear my points? You have to purchase license first, and after that you can download latest signature update. This is called dynamic update. If your Palo Alto firewall box, if your Palo Alto firewall box has license, and if your Palo Alto firewall box is connected with the internet, so you can just click here, connect now. After DNS configuration, because if you have DNS configuration in your Palo Alto, then Palo Alto firewall box can go on updates.paloaltonetworks.com. So to resolve IP to name or name to IP, yes, you have a DNS entry. As per your DNS entry, your Palo Alto firewall box can go on to updates.paloaltonetworks.com. So if you have connectivity with internet, so you can just click on check now. So it will search for latest update, latest signatures, and you can download. Once you download, you can just right click and install it. Clear my point, everyone? So dynamic update is related with signature update. Clear?
Yes.
Genu, Rohan, Jagdish.
Yes, yes.
Okay. The next option is called software update. So software update is related with operating system version. In Palo Alto, we are working with PAN-OS. PAN-OS. So for example, if we have Palo Alto 8.0.0 and I want to upgrade this 10.0 into 10.0.0. I have 8.0.0 PAN-OS version and I want to upgrade in 10.0.0. So what I can do, I cannot directly upgrade 8.0.0 into 10.0. No, I cannot do this. I need to follow the upgrade path. Okay, I need to follow the upgrade path. So I have to upgrade 8.0.0 into 8.0.9. First, you need to upgrade with 8.0.9, then 9.0.0, then 9.0.0.9, then you can upgrade with 10.0.0. So if your Palo Alto Power Box is connected with the internet, you can just click here, check now. It will automatically download all the software update, all the Panos update. Okay. After that, you can install. You can just select and you can install which version. See, if you are trying to follow the upgrade path, because you have to, you cannot upgrade directly 8.0.0 with 10.0.0. You need to follow this upgrade path. So you can download all the operating system version and step by step you can install it. So before upgrade your firmware version or before upgrade your operating system, remember always you have to take backup of your configuration. Maybe after upgradation, some of your configuration is not working properly. Maybe. So the point is what you need to take a backup first if it is not working properly. So you need to downgrade your operating system. Clear my point? We have two options called software update and dynamic update. Is that clear? This is a small concept. Any question?
Yes. No.
Okay, now we can talk
सर
about yes, yes,
सर ये जो
yes.
पैन ओएस का अपडेट है सर वो दिखाएंगे कहाँ पर है पाथ
This is the option. Say device and software. You can click on device, then you can go on to the software.
ओके
But you need to have license first. Without license, you cannot download all the Panos version in your
ओके सर
organization. That's why I'm only giving you an idea. Clear, Rohan?
हाँ सर
Okay, now we can talk about device operation. So for example, if you want to restart or shut down your Palo Alto firewall box. So okay, let me access this Palo Alto first. So same topology I'm using, you can see guys 199 series of IP. So same topology I'm using 199.199.199.1. Remember our default username and password. So admin, default username is admin and password is admin. So let's talk about device operation. What is device operation? If you want to restart or shut down your Palo Alto firewall box, you can. You can go on to the CLI option. You can type here request shutdown system. Request shutdown as a shutdown system. You can press enter to stop your Palo Alto firewall box. If you want to restart, so request restart system. You can press enter. I'm not using this command, but you can use, okay, to restart your Palo Alto firewall box through CLI. Now with graphical page, it's a very simple task. Wait, this will take time. Now click on device. You can click on device, you can click on operation, and here is the option, reboot or shut down. You can just click, you can just restart your Palo Alto Firewall box, or you can shut down your Palo Alto Firewall box. Now let's go on to the slide. Now let's talk about backup and restore. In Palo Alto Firewall box, you can go with the backup and restore option. So in Palo Alto Firewall box, we can take a snapshot. We can take configuration snapshot. For backup and restore, you can click on device, you can click on operation, and see these options: save, load, export, and import. These options are available for backup and restoring. Or you can use this option, it's called revert. What is revert? If you want to revert your firewall box, revert to last save configuration. If you want to go with the last save configuration, if you want to revert, so you can use this option. But for backup and restore, we can use save, load, export, and import. So in Palo Alto Firewall box, you can take configuration snapshot. What is configuration snapshot? For example, you can check here. You can check here. Here we have a Palo Alto Firewall box, and host name we are using Palo Alto Firewall 100. So we have some configuration right now. So let's take a backup. Let's take a backup snapshot. Snapshot here. Click on operation. Now you can click on save. So whenever you change anything in Palo Alto Firewall box, whenever you change anything, you can take configuration snapshot. You can take it's called incremental backup, you can say. So for example, I'm giving a name, my backup 111. You can click on OK. Sorry, valid name. What happened? My backup 1111. You can click on OK. Now I have a my backup 11 something. You can click on OK now. So I have a configuration snapshot in Palo. Right now it is available in Palo Alto database. Now let's go again. Let's go again. And I'm trying to change something. I'm trying to change Palo Alto hostname. I'm trying to change Palo Alto hostname. For example, Palo Alto, Palo PA for example, PA VM 555. You can click on OK. So you can change something in your Palo Alto. Let's commit our configuration. And now I'm trying to take another backup. Wait. So now you can verify, guys, host name is changed now, and I'm trying to take a backup, a new configuration backup. I'm trying to take a new snapshot. So new backup 1, you can click on OK. So I have two configuration snapshot. Radish, Ganu, Rohan, can you hear me? I
Yes.
have two snapshot. I have two configuration snapshot. So my point is, whenever you change anything in Palo Alto Fabric Box, you can take a snapshot. And right now, this snapshot is available in Palo Alto database. If you want to export this configuration snapshot, if you want to export this configuration snapshot and you want to store in external hard disk or on external server, so you can click on export. You can click on export configuration snapshot. So we have two snapshots. What we have new backup, new back one. I'm trying to export this because I want to store on external server. You can click on again export. You can click on again, export configuration snapshot. And I'm trying to export this my backup 111. You can click on. Now you can verify in download folder. In download folder, you can verify. You can click on download and see we have two snapshots. So whenever you change anything in Palo Alto, you can take changes. You can take configuration snapshot. Now let's change something now. In Palo Alto Firewall box, I'm trying to change something. I'm trying to change my hosting, for example. So PAVM 888 something. You can click on OK. Now you can commit your configuration. Commit your configuration. Now, in case if you want to restore, your last configurations, then wait, let's commit this configuration first. Now you can see as now host name is changed. I'm using PAVM 888 something. So now in case if I want to restore my configuration, I have a two backup file. Remember, I have a two backup file and I'm trying to restore. For example, new backpoint. This configuration snapshot I want to restore in Palo Alto Firewall. So what I can do? First, I need to import it. You can click on operation. You can click on import configuration snapshot, and you can click on browser. You can see here in download, I have a new backup. I can import. I can import this configuration snapshot. Now this snapshot is available now in your Palo Alto database. So it's not load right now. It's not live. It's only imported in Palo Alto database. For example, let's try to upload another backup snapshot. My backup 1 you can click on OK. So you can import your configuration snapshot, multiple configuration snapshot. And now which snapshot you want to load now. So you can click on load. You can click on load. You can click on here. For example, I want to load new back 1. You can just click on configuration is being loaded. You can click on close. You can click on commit. You can click on commit. So I'm trying to load my back one, right? This backup, new back one. Wait. If it is restored, so we can get our old host name. So the task is very simple. Whenever you change anything in Palo Alto, you can take configuration snapshot. See, clear? Genio, Jagdish, Rohan, clear for you?
Awesome.
This configuration snapshot. Okay. Now this is your slide number 1. Slide number 1. So we can focus on next slide. Next slide is called Palo Alto Lab Part 2. So in Palo Alto Lab Part 2, we can discuss interface configuration. See, we can focus on these topics. We can focus on these topics. Object, how to create object in Palo Alto, how to create zone, how to create custom virtual router, how to create interface management profile. So let's start our discussion. I have a small topology. Let me show you. I have a small topology with LAN connectivity and WAN connectivity. Wait. Please wait 5 minutes. This Palo Alto firewall box will take time. So we can focus now on interface configuration. I have a small topology. See, as per this small topology, I'm trying to configure IP address on Ethernet 1/1. Ethernet 1/1 is a part of LAN side private network, and 1/2, this interface is participating in WAN side, or you can say on public network. Public network. So on public network side, I'm using 192.168.0.0 1.0/24. So I will configure IP address on Ethernet 1/1 statically, and on Ethernet 2, on Ethernet 1/2, I can configure through DSCP service. So in Palo Alto Firewall box, what we can do, we can create zone, because Palo Alto Firewall, Palo Alto Firewall, PA Firewall box, it's a zone-based firewall, JPF Firewall box. What is JPF Firewall box means? If I'm working with any zone-based firewall box, it means I need to create zones manually, and I can put these interfaces, for example, Ethernet 1/1, 1/2, these interfaces into their respective zone. So I can create LAN zone here and WAN zone. So please wait, this Palo Alto firewall box will take time. Then we will continue our interface configuration. Okay, everyone, please wait. This will take time. If you are trying to log in, for example, if you are trying to log in, you cannot see admin, admin. So you have to wait, because Palo Alto firewall box will take time. This is not an error, okay? This will take time. Any problem, any question, everyone? Jagdish, can you go ahead?
No, no question.
Please wait, guys, 5 minutes. Okay, can you hear me, everyone? Can you,
Yes.
Rohan, Jagdish?
Yes.
Okay,
हाँ सर.
okay. So let's talk about interface configuration in Palo Alto. Interface configuration. So for interface configuration, let's talk about Palo Alto interface type. Let's talk about Alto interface type. So here in Palo Alto, we can discuss L3 interface, L2 interface type, next tap interface, tap, virtual wire interface, and HA. It's called high availability interface. So these are the Palo Alto interface type. What is L3 interface? L3 interface is just like a router interface where you can configure your IP address. You can configure your IP address. Guys, please wait. Give me 2 minutes. Everyone. Okay, everyone, can you hear me? Daniel, Jagdish, Rohan.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about Palo Alto interface type. So what is L3 interface? L3 is just like a router interface, okay, where you can configure your IP address, like your laptop LAN card or your router interface, L3 interface. So it's same like a router interface where you can configure your IP address. And yes, in our configuration, as per our discussion, I will use interface type L3 to configure this Ethernet 1/1 and 1/2. I will use Ethernet type L3 interface type. Now we have another concept is called L2 interface. L2 interface type is called switch port. It's called a switch port. It means on my Palo Alto firewall box, if I have multiple data interfaces, and if I want to use these two interfaces as a L2, as a normal switch port, if I want to use, so I need to select only interface type as a L2. So these interfaces are acting as a normal switch port. Remember switch interfaces? If you have switch interfaces, so you need to put these interfaces into VLAN. Remember in switching we have a concept of VLAN, everyone. So you can use your Palo Alto interface as a normal switch port. Clear my point? L2 interface concept. Clear my point? L2 interface.
Yes.
Now we have another option. It's called tap interface. In Palo Alto firewall box, you can say tap interface. In Fortinet, you can say one arm sniffer. One arm sniffer. So what is tap interface? What is tap interface? So for example, in my existing, I have an existing routing and switching network. For example, this is my routing and switching topology. Routing and switching. These are the switches. These are switches. It's called switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, switch 4. And these switches are connected with a router you can say, and this router is connected with the internet. So this is simple routing and switching scenario. Okay, simple routing and switching. So into this topology, now I want to deploy a Palo Alto firewall box. I want to deploy it. So before deploy a firewall here, in inline mode, before deploying your firewall box in inline mode, I'm trying to deploy my firewall box here, my Palo Alto box here. I'm not trying to deploy right now. I'm not trying to deploy my firewall box in inline. I'm not trying to deploy here in inline mode. No, you can say for first week or for first 10 days, I want to use my Palo Alto interface as a tap interface. I'm not trying to deploy my firewall box in inline. I'm trying to deploy my Palo Alto firewall box here, and this Palo Alto firewall box is connected with this switch number 4, for example, and switch number 4 port number 25. And on Palo Alto, I'm using 0/5, for example, 0/5. Now, into this routing switching topology, what I can do, I can use a concept is called span. Any idea about span or RSpan, everyone? Any idea about span or RSpan? Rohan, Jagdish, Sandeep, can you?
नहीं तुम्हें पता है
Sorry? Any idea about span concept in routing and switching? This is routing switching concept. Span is a
नहीं
routing and switching concept. Any idea what is span? Ganu, Jagdish, Rohan,
तो
Sandeep?
सर अगर शायद से मैं श्योर नहीं हूँ बट शायद से हमारा अगर L2 इंटरफेस अगर हमारा डाउन हो जाता है तो स्पैनिंग ट्री की वजह से हमें
No, it's not. It's not a spanning tree. No, it's not STP.
ओके 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 सॉरी
I'm
सॉरी
not talking about
सॉरी ओके
STP, spanning tree. No,
ओके
I'm talking about
सॉरी फिर सर
span.
पता
Span.
नहीं
It's a switching. It's a switching. feature, switching technology.
नहीं सर फिर
It's
पता
called
नहीं।
switch port analyzer. Okay, switch port analyzer. This concept we are using for port mirroring. For port mirroring. So what we can do, see, if you are working in a if you are working with single switch, so you can use a concept. You can use a concept is called span. But in case if you have multiple switches, so you can go with the R span concept. R span. So right now we have multiple switches. So into your routing switching topology, you can implement R span. It's called remote switch port analyzer. What I can do, I can enable R span concept here. R span onto this interface and on this interface. I can enable R-span concept on switch number 3 this port and on switch number 4 this port. Why? Because through this port, traffic is traveling to outside, reply packet is coming. That's why I'm trying to implement R-span here on switch number 3. So now this time, any traffic, if you are using span, it's called switch port analyzer. This concept we are using for port mirroring. So now this time, if any traffic is going to TX and RX. It means now any traffic is going to transmit or receive onto this particular interface, onto this particular interface. So this will create a copy of this packet and then send it to this interface. In RSpan configuration, you can decide source interface and destination interface on switch. So what I'm using, I'm trying to capture packet information, receive and transmit information onto this particular port. Traffic is traveling, and this will create a copy of this packet and then send it to the switch port, switch number 4, port 0/25. And this port 0/25 is connected with Palo Alto 0/5. And this port I'm using as a tap interface. I'm using as a tap interface. It means tap is we are using only for monitoring. I'm trying to collect the information. What type of traffic is traveling, okay, is traveling into this scenario, into this network. What type of traffic is traveling? Because as an administrator, if I have an idea about the traffic pattern, so this can help me to configure my firewall policy. This can help me to filter my network because I already know the traffic pattern in my organization. So now this tap interface is trying to collect all the information. Okay, so after 1 week or after 10 days, now you can see the data information. You can see the data, what type of application they are accessing, what type of file they are accessing most of the time, what type of URL they are accessing most of the time. So you have a data information. Okay, you have a data. Now after that, now you can deploy your Palo Alto firewall box in inline, and now as an administrator, now you have an idea what type of application or files or URL you want to allow or block. So tab interface we are only using for monitoring. With tab interface, you cannot block anything. Can you clear my point? Can you, Jagdish, Rohan, Sandeep?
Yes.
Tab interface is just like हमारी भाषा में क्या होता है, जो गांव में पेड़ के नीचे दादाजी टाइप के लोग बैठे रहते हैं ना, किसका बेटा कहाँ जा रहा है. Clear my point, Rohan, Sandeep, Jagdish?
Yes, yes.
This is the
हाँ सर.
concept कि वो सिर्फ डेटा कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं और फिर बाद में बताते हैं आप उनके पिताजी को कि आपका बेटा इधर जा रहा था उधर जा. So that is called tap interface in Palo. In Fortinet, you can say one arm snip. I hope this concept is clear for everyone. Sandeep, everyone, clear now?
हाँ सर.
Okay, now let's take a break for 5 minutes. 5 minute break, and then we can continue our virtual wire concept and high availability concept. Okay, so please wait. We can start in 5 minute 5 minute break. Hello, can you hear me, everyone? Ganu, Jagdish, Rohan, Sandeep.
हाँ सर।
Hello.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Let's start our discussion. So let's talk about our next interface type. Next interface type is called. Please turn off your mic, everyone. If you have any question, you can unmute. So let's talk about our next interface type is called virtual wire interface. Virtual wire. So this concept is called virtual wire pairing. Virtual wire pairing. Okay. What is virtual wire pairing interface? Virtual wire interface. So see, virtual wire interface is just like a layer 2 firewall device. It's just like a layer 2 firewall, but it's not a layer 2 firewall. Okay, I will tell you this concept in detail, but right now I'm giving you the idea. Virtual wire interface is just like a layer 2 firewall. What is layer 2 firewall? See, for example, we can use our firewall box as a L3 firewall, or we can use as a L2 firewall device. So in case if I have a L3 box, L3 firewall box, so I can configure IP address onto these interfaces. Onto these interfaces, I can configure IP address. I can configure routing, VPN concept. I can configure routing, VPN concept, NAT concept onto this firewall box. And this is next generation firewall. So I can use next generation firewall features. No problem. So with L3 firewall box, we have a great feature. We can implement routing. We can go with the VPN option or NAT option. In case if this firewall device is acting as a layer 2, in case it's acting as a layer 2 firewall box. So layer 2 firewall box. So we cannot configure IP address onto these interfaces. No, because these interfaces are acting as a layer 2 interface. It's not a switch port. No, it's not a switch port. It's a layer 2 interface. Okay, where we cannot configure IP address. So in this scenario, we can use layer 2 firewall box because with layer 2 firewall box, we have some limitation. We cannot configure routing. We cannot configure NAT. We cannot configure VPN onto this layer 2 firewall box. So in this scenario, we can use, it's a different concept in this scenario. But right now we are talking about virtual wire. So virtual wire concept, see. So virtual wire, it's just like a layer 2 firewall, but it's not a layer 2 firewall box. It's just like a layer 2 firewall. So where we can use, for example, I have a simple routing and switching topology. This is a router with WAN connectivity, and I have a switch in my topology and computers in my LAN side. Everything is working fine into this topology. Everything is working fine. It's a simple routing and switching topology. Traffic is traveling to the switch. Switch is forwarding traffic to the router, and based on his routing table, router is forwarding this traffic information to outside. So everything is working fine into this topology. Now I want to deploy a firewall here, for example. I want to deploy a firewall here. And this firewall device, if I'm using this firewall device as a L3 firewall box, so these interfaces are acting as a layer 3. And see, before deploy this L3 firewall box, this is your single subnet, LAN side, and this is your different subnet. So I'm trying to deploy my firewall box in LAN, and if this firewall device is L3 firewall box, so each interface onto this L3 firewall box, each interface they are participating in different subnet because it's a L3 firewall box. So each interface are acting as a layer 3 interface. They are participating in different subnet. So I need to change IP address scheme in my existing route. In my existing scenario, I need to change IP address scheme. Now my single network is divided into two different subnet, right? I need to change IP address scheme. If I don't want to change, for example, if I don't want to change IP address scheme and I want to deploy a firewall box in my live scenario, in my live network, in my live routing switching network, I don't want to just change IP address scheme, but I want to deploy a firewall here, so I can deploy this firewall device as a layer 2. This firewall device is a layer 2 firewall box, so it means we cannot configure IP address onto these interfaces. So now this firewall box is a part of same subnet. No need to change IP address scheme, and it's a firewall interface. So I need to put this interface in zone. So this is LAN. This is what WAN zone. And to allow traffic from one zone to another zone, you need to configure what? Firewall policy. So it's a complete firewall device. It's a complete firewall, but what? We have a layer 2 feature. We cannot configure IP address onto these interfaces. It's a firewall. We can use next generation firewall feature, no problem. But we have some limitation. We cannot configure routing, NAT, VPN onto this firewall box. So, same kind of concept we have in virtual wire. Virtual wire means what? It's kind of layer 2 interfaces. These interfaces are acting as a layer. So I can go with the virtual wire pairing. So I can create here V-wire, for example, V-wire A. So I can create V-wire A concept. And these two interfaces I will put into virtual wire A. I will put into the virtual wire A. Now you cannot configure IP address onto these interfaces. These are like a layer 2. Clear my point, everyone? You will get a clear picture when we will do a lab. I can show you the option. Is that clear? Right now the concept. These interfaces are acting as a layer 2. Rohan, Jagdish, can you, Sandeep, any question?
No.
Okay. Now let's talk about next interface type is called high availability interface. So HA is called what? HA is called high availability interface. So if you have high-end Palo Alto firewall box, high-end Palo Alto firewall box, so you will get a dedicated HA port. If I'm trying to configure high availability into PA1 and PA2, so what I can do, I need a high availability link. In Palo Alto, we need two separate link. It's called high availability link 1 and high availability link 2. I need two separate link in Palo Alto. So if you are working with high end appliance, so you will get a dedicated HA port. Data interface is different, okay, but you will get a dedicated HA port. It's called high availability port. But in case if you are working with entry level firewall box, for example, you have PA200 firewall box or PA220 firewall box. So onto these series of the firewall, you can use your data interface because you don't have any dedicated high availability interface on entry level firewall box. So you can use your data interface as a high availability interface. So for example, if I have multiple data interface 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So these two, 6 and 7 interface, I can use as a high availability link. If I don't have any dedicated HA port, I can use my data interface as a high availability interface. Okay, so this concept I can tell you when we will discuss about high availability implementation or failover configuration. I can show you, no problem. So let's start our this configuration part. So I'm trying to focus first on layer 3 interface type. So let's go on to the topology. I have a small topology with two interfaces, Ethernet 1/1 and 1/2. So I'm trying to access this Palo Alto. Wait. Please wait, this will take time. Okay, so for interface configuration, you can click on network tab. You can click on network tab. And you can see this option is called interface. So for interface configuration, you can go into the network tab, you can click on interface, and now here we have multiple interfaces. Ethernet interface, VLAN interface, loopback interface, and tunnel interface. If you click on Ethernet, so these are the physical interfaces. These are what? Physical interfaces on your firewall box. Physical interfaces. So right now onto this Palo Alto firewall box, we have 8 data interface. 8 data interfaces. In case if you want to create VLAN interface or loopback interface or tunnel interface, or if you want to create sub interfaces, so yes, you can create sub interfaces. Let's start our discussion with the interface configuration 1/1. So as per our topology, I'm trying to configure IP address on Ethernet 1/1. This 1/1 we are using as a LAN port. So let's go on to the firewall box. You can select your interface 1/1. Now you can see this option. See, here we have interface name. So we are trying to configure Ethernet 1/1. You can go with the interface type. If you click here, you can get multiple option. Tap interface, HA interface type, virtual wire, layer 2, layer 3. So in case if you go with the tap interface, for example, if you go with the tap interface, you can see you have only two tab, config and advanced. You have two options, config and advanced. So you can see you have to put this interface into a security zone. And if you click on advanced button, you cannot configure anything. Only you can put this interface in a zone. So remember always, you cannot configure IP address on tab interface. Now, if you select, for example, if you select your HA, high availability link, so here you can only select your interface type, HA. For high availability configuration, you can go into the device tab. But here you can select, for example, I want to use Ethernet 1/1 as a high availability link. So you can select interface tab, click on. If you select, for example, if you select your virtual wire, so you can see you have two tabs, config and advanced. So in config, we have two options, virtual wire and security zone. So we can create virtual wire here, and this interface we can put into the virtual wire, and we can put this interface into security zone. If you click on advanced, so remember I told you virtual wire interface is just like a layer 2 firewall. We cannot configure IP address on interface. So you can see there is no any option. See, there's no any option for interface configuration. We cannot configure IP address. We can't configure IP address. Now, if you select, for example, layer 2, so it's a switch port. I told you. So you can see advanced tab. If you click on config, so it's a switch port. So you can put this interface into VLAN, and you can put this interface in a zone. You need to create zone option because Palo Alto is a zone-based firewall box. Now you can click on here. You can select L3, for example. You can select your L3 interface type, L3 interface. So now this interface is acting as a L3. So yes, I can configure IP address onto this interface. See, we have config tab, IPv4, IPv6, and advanced. So what is config? What is config tab? In config tab, we can put this interface in a virtual router. So in Palo Alto firewall box, we have a virtual router concept. Then we can put our interface in security zone. Now you can go for IPv4 configuration, or you can go with the IPv6. You can click on advanced. You can use other option. So let's, as per our topology, I'm trying to configure IP address on Ethernet 1/1. So let's start our IP address configuration. Any problem? Can you any problem? Jagdish, Rohan, Sandeep?
No problem.
Okay. So now let's talk about layer 2 interface type. So now you can click on virtual router. You can click here. See, so you need to put this interface in virtual router. What is virtual router concept? What is virtual router concept? So for example, okay guys, remember VRF concept in routing and switching? Rohan, any idea? VRF concept in routing and switching?
नहीं सर.
Okay, no problem. Jagdish, Sandeep, Ganu, VRF, it's a routing and switching topic. Any
No,
idea
no.
about VRF?
No.
Okay, it's called virtual, it's a VPN concept. It's like a VPN uh, MPLS concept. VRF is called virtual routing and forwarding. So with VRF concept, you can divide your single router into multiple virtual routers. It means you can divide your single global routing table into multiple separate routing tables. This topic is related with MPLS technology. Okay, that's why this concept is called VRF. So, same kind of concept we have in Palo Alto. If you have multiple interfaces, for example, multiple interfaces, multiple interfaces. So I can create here, I can create here virtual router. For example, I can create virtual router A, and these three interfaces I'm trying to put into the virtual router A. Now I can create virtual router B, virtual router C. So virtual router A don't know anything about virtual router B. Now I can go into the virtual router A, and I can put this interface in LAN, this interface in WAN, this interface in DMZ. Into this virtual router B, I can put this interface in LAN, WAN, and DMZ. If I want to configure if I want to configure routing in between these three interfaces, I need to go into the virtual router A. If I want to allow traffic from LAN to WAN, I need to go in virtual router A. So we can divide our single global routing table into multiple virtual routing tables. Clear my point? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so what I can do is, see, you can click on interface. You can click on interface Ethernet 1/1. You can select your interface type. You can select your interface type. It's called L3 interface. And now virtual router. So we have a default virtual router. Like in our router, if you type show IP route in Cisco router, so you will get your global routing table, default global routing table. So here we have a default virtual router. If you want to create your own, so you can click on virtual router here, and you can create. So for example, I'm trying to create my virtual router. I'm giving a name VIR, for example. So VIR, 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 and now you can see into this virtual router, we can configure static route, redistribution, REP, OSPF version 3, BGP, multicast. So right now I'm trying to create this virtual router, VIR. And this interface I'm trying to put into the VIR. Now you can create your security zone, because Palo Alto firewall box is a zone-based firewall box. You need to put your interface in a zone. So you can click on zone, you can create your zone. As per our discussion, I'm creating LAN zone here. So you can You can give a name is called LAN zone. You can just click on OK. So now we have a LAN zone. Now you can click on IPv4 interface. So for IPv4, if you click on IPv4, you have two options. Either you have three options. Either you can configure IP address statically, or you can go with the PPOE, is called point-to-point protocol over Ethernet. Or in case if you want to use DSCP client option onto this interface, you can, no problem. So I'm trying to configure right now I'm trying to configure IP address statically, so you can go with the static option. Now you can click on add, you can click on add, you can click on address. Now why click on address? See, you can click on add, and here you can create address object. So remember always Palo Alto Firewall, CCSA, Checkpoint Firewall Box, or Cisco FTD, Cisco Firepower Threat Defense. These three firewall box, not only these, okay, Cisco ASA, Cisco ASA, Fortinet. These firewall devices are object-oriented firewall box. So into these firewall box, we can create object here, like IP address object, single IP address object, or range object, or MAC address object. So we can create here IP address object, and these objects we can use in our configuration. So what I'm doing, you can click on address. I can tell you in detail about address object. I can tell you in detail, but right now I'm creating an IP address object. You can give a name here. It's called LAN 200.200.200. It's not an IP address. It's an object name. Here you can configure your IP address. So 200.200.1/24. So onto this interface, I'm configuring this IP address. So this IP address I'm using into this object LAN 200.200.201, and this object I'm trying to attach with this interface. Now you can click on IP version 6. If you want to configure IP version 6 address here, so you can just enable IPv6 on the interface. You can click on add. You can click on address option. You can give a name. If you guys are familiar with the IP version 6, I'm configuring IP version 6. Remember IP version 6? It has 128 bit. It is in a hexadecimal format. Remember, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So I'm giving a name marketing user 1. So IP address, for example, 2001:10:1:1:23:1/64. You can click on OK. This is IP version 6 address. You can click on OK. Now you can click on OK. Done. You can click on advanced. Now you can click on advanced, and you can attach management profile. Why management profile? Because I told you in day one session, by default, on data interfaces, nothing is allowed. No, everything is denied. Okay, no services is allowed on data interfaces, but on management port, ping, HTTPS, and SSH, these three services are enabled on management port. But on data interfaces, no services are enabled. So what you can do, you can create your management profile. In management profile, you can attach your services. You can click on management profile. You can give a name. It's called, for example, MGMT1. Just a name. You can give any name here. And these are the services. So you can create services bundle. You can create service bundle. See, these are the administrative management services, and these are the network services. So for example, right now I'm trying to enable ping service onto this particular port into this management profile. So I'm trying to enable ping service onto this port. So I'm creating management profile MGMT with ping service. If you want to enable SSH telnet, you can just select. You can click on OK. So this is the services, and this service bundle name is MGMT1. You can click on OK. You can click on OK. And now this is your interface. You can verify here. You can verify your Ethernet 1/1 interface type layer 3 management profile MGMT11 you are using IP address IPv4, and this is what IP version 6 virtual router VIR security zone we are using is called LAN zone. Now you can click on commit. You can click on commit and you can commit your configuration. So let's go on to the CLI option. We can verify our IP address information. Show interface. So this is what Ethernet 1/1. Wait, let's commit this configuration first. Any problem? Sunny, Rohan, can you, Jitish?
No, no.
Any problem, guys? Rohan, any question?
नहीं सर.
Okay, Sandeep. Okay, so now this configuration is completed. See, completed. Now you can type show interface Ethernet 1/1. You can press enter. You can verify your information. See, virtual router interface type operation mode. We are using L3. Virtual router is VIR. You can see, and IP address onto this interface 200.201. IPv6 address and management profile we are using MGMT11, and these services ping, telnet, SSH, these services are enabled into this management profile. I hope it's clear for everyone.
Yes.
Okay, let's continue this topic on next week and everyone. Okay.
सर
Yes,
अपना जो वीडियो थे वो अपलोड कर दीजिए ना सर.
last session video.
हाँ, जो अपने तीन से चार 3-4 लेक्चर जो हुए हैं तो उसका कोई वीडियो तक अपलोड नहीं हुआ है
अभी
ना.
मैं अभी अपलोड कर देता हूँ. ओके, अभी मेरे पास एक और सेशन है. मैं अभी आज 9:30 पे अपलोड कर दूंगा सारे वीडियोस. ओके.
कोई दिक्कत नहीं. और सर कल आपको टाइम रहेगा क्या? मैं वीएम इंस्टॉल करने जा रहा हूँ तो कल कुछ दिक्कत रहेगा तो आपको कोऑर्डिनेट करने के लिए
हाँ
कोई
हाँ.
आपका प्रेफर्ड टाइम रहेगा क्या?
मैं 2 से 3 के बीच में फ्री रहूंगा लंच टाइम पे.
2 से
2 से 3, 2 to 3.
2 to 3.
2 to 3 में फ्री
ठीक
रहूंगा.
है
ठीक
सर,
है.
अगर कुछ इश्यू रहेगा तो मैं आपको पिंग कर लूंगा 2 to
डन
3 के
डन
बीच
डन
में.
डन.
ठीक
Okay,
है.
now
ओके
guys,
सर,
let's
थैंक यू.
continue this topic on next weekend. Okay, Sandeep, Jatish, Rohan, Ganyu.
Okay.
Bye everyone. Take care, guys. Bye
बाय.
everyone.
Bye.